Love a nice short intro song. Hi, everybody. It's about 95 degrees here in Brooklyn. What it feel, how the weather app always goes, here's what the weather is and here's what it feels like. It is 95. It feels like I'm in Satan's asshole. There are two good seasons in New York, and within those two seasons, there's about 2 weeks in each season that is good. And those seasons are spring and fall. And spring, by the way, is a fucking dice roll. That could be, you could have a good spring where you're like, oh, dude, it's temperate weather. I can wear some like cool clothing. Like, look at that sweat. Disgusting. Light layering, all that shit. Or it could just be fucking raining the entire time. And the weather sort of feels good, but you're not going to get any enjoyment out of it because you're going to be wet. So you stay inside. Fall is, so like the last 2 weeks of September could be good. October's good pretty much the whole way through. So maybe 3 weeks in fall. You get 3 good weeks. Spring is like 2. But the rest of it makes up for, the garbage you have to sift through, literally and figuratively. Right now is where you're like, okay, we got to clamp down and just get ready to get through summer. Like real summer, thick fucking air, humid, disgusting. Even the rats are looking up at you like, I don't even want to be out here. And then they go hide in a dark place, which we have going on in our backyard right now. There is a fucking rat, and he is making moves. He's trying to get into the yard. He has successfully gotten into the yard. He's getting under our little like deck patio, whatever thing. And I don't know why he wants to be under there. There's no food. There is a rat box that I think has been there since 1957. There's nothing in it. And he goes in there and then leaves. And he keeps doing it. Like, I don't know. Rats are not the smartest, but they're not that dumb. I mean, they're surviving in New York, which if you can survive in New York, you can survive anywhere. That's a rat motto, too, not just for people. So he's in there, and he isn't getting anything out of it. So I can only assume it's like a cool, dark place. But the dogs now have gotten wind of it. They're like, I can smell a fucking intruder. And they want blood, and I want to give it to them. I want them to corner that rat, and I want them to grab from each side and then just fucking pop it open like a fucking meat piñata, and they can just feast. That'd be great. They're vaccinated against all the rat stuff, so it should be fine. My girlfriend doesn't want the little one to get near him because rats are the size of the dog himself. But he's a fucking terrier. That's his job. He's bred to do it. I think he should go for it. I believe in him. I think he's brave. He's small but brave, and probably more like adept to do it than the big dog. I'm not saying their names just so their attention doesn't go, who, me? And then crash into my fucking camera and lights. There's only one rat too, which is good. My fear was it was going to go down there and just like have a bunch of babies, and then I'd have to just fucking get a rat poison shotgun and just fucking murder him and his family, which still could happen. You never know. But I wouldn't. I would just unleash the dogs in there, and they would go to town. Anyway, one of the major drawbacks of New York is the rats that just run the play. They run the show, and you have, like, my girlfriend would always, why are they here? Where are they coming from? Why? And I'm like, because it's New York, and there's more of them than there are of us, and we just have to coexist. but she still can't. Why? Where did it come from? And I'm like, the sewer next door, another building. Like, they're just going to be here. And you just sort of, you just ignore. I ignore them. Like, I see them if I'm waiting for a subway, and then I'm like, there is the biggest rat I've ever seen in my life. And on a fundamental human level, it is disturbing. I have to change the subject in my mind. I look away, I look at the phone, or I look at another person who's just like, zonked out on some podcast they're listening to, and I go, look at that fucking idiot. And that's better than seeing this rat that is just feeding off the trash of the city and knowing that there are millions of others like it. If you think about it too much, you probably wouldn't be able to sleep. I'm sure people who newly move here and see stuff like that are like, well, I'm not sleeping for the first 2 weeks of being in New York. And, you just have to shut it off. You just have to that has to just become a gray, like a gray sort of area where you look and you understand that you're seeing a rat, but at the same time, it might as well just be, a figment of your imagination or a part of the video game that you'll deal with later. You're like, I'll come back to that. And then you never do. Another thing that I have come to just accept about this city is, and I was talking to a buddy, an acquaintance. His name is Mike. He works on the Guys We Fuck podcast, which I just did, by the way, maybe like a month ago. So if you haven't listened to that, go do that. And you know what? I didn't switch to my main camera. Also my special right there. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Subscribe to the channel. Get me to a place where I can monetize my fucking YouTube already. He mentioned something about bagels, and he was saying something about how they're good or whatever. And he's like a total New York, New Jersey dude. He's been here his whole life, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, bagels aren't good. And he just couldn't believe I said it. He was just, what? His reaction was like, no way. Like, as if I was like, dude, the earth is flat. It was like that level of, I can't believe you just said that. So I don't believe the earth is flat, by the way. It is not at all. So that was one of those things where I know deep down I've accepted it, and I just don't say it out loud because people get so worked up over bagels. It's like they have their favorites. This place is better than that. The soft, chewy center, the crisp crack when you bite into the blah, blah, fucking blah. They're never better than like a 6 out of 10. And I've been to the good ones. And right now you're going to go, but you haven't been to this one, and you're going to send me a link to it. And look, I might even go because I want to be wrong. And I haven't been so far. My taste buds are like, nope, this isn't good either. I can't even name the good ones because it's just kind of over the years. You go to one, and then 6 months later, they're in the past. Like, I fucking don't care. So I've tried a handful of them, and like I would probably have come around by now. It's been years, and every time I go, I'm like, this is going to be the place. And the closest I think I've come is a place in the East Village. I think it's called like Tompkins Square Bagels or some shit. And it's not even considered one of the best ones, but they have an everything bagel that I would get as a breakfast sandwich. I would do a sausage, egg, cheese on an everything bagel. And that was the closest thing to like, fuck, this is a good bagel sandwich. But that's not what people mean when they say a great bagel. They're all about like, get like a fucking smear of, whatever cream cheese in there and then enjoy it that way. And I don't think I've ever enjoyed a bagel just covered in just globs of cream cheese. It's never been that good. And the times where I'm like, yeah, this is like pretty good cream cheese, it's always too much. And the reason they put too much is to make their shitty fucking dense lead-like bagel taste good. They're too bready. That's why you need all that cream cheese in them. And then it becomes one or the other. It's way too cream cheesy or it's way too doughy, stringy, bready. It's too dense. In any sandwich, and a bagel is a sandwich, much like a burger or a hot dog, the star of the show is what is in between the fucking bread. And if the best you can do is just a pound of cream cheese just to offset how dry and doughy your bread is, that's a failure to me. And the only times they've been good are when they're a regular breakfast sandwich. And if we're going to say that, fine, get it that way, don't get, a cream cheese, I'm going to get a breakfast sandwich with regular bread. Give me some thin sourdough or even like a roll, like a morning roll. Croissant even, stuff some sausage, egg, cheese, boom, we're done. Or just regular like wheat, like whole grain wheat, and then the ingredients in there. That's the sandwich. Should be 3/4 the ingredients, good ones, and then the bread, it's kind of just there to hold it together. And if it's pretty good bread, you're like, great, I came out ahead, I suppose. I've never come out ahead with a bagel as a sandwich, whether it's cream cheese or whatever ingredients. They're never that good, and I'll never change my mind at this point. I've tried enough. I'm not being closed-minded. I'm being as open-minded as I can. I've tried so fucking many. And I'll even look right now. If you are like, no, but these are the 3 places, and you've lived here your whole life, blah, 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 I might even go do it just to be extra right about it. If that's the case, I will go in open-minded. Just know that you're wrong. Yeah, it's just, and I respect Mike's opinion. He's told me about some like good food. We click on a bunch of different New York food establishments where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm with you. We have similar taste in food, but I cannot do the bagel thing. I should have him actually recommend like what's the one ultimate bagel spot. And look, I'll try it, but bagels they're just overrated. They're overrated. Bye. Done. No more. That was like a warm up for what I really want to fucking talk about. Threads. It just came out. It is Instagram's supposed answer to Twitter. Anytime they say, is this the such and such app killer? Is this the Twitter killer? Is this the Facebook killer? Is it? Immediately I'm like, it's not. It's not. It won't be. It never is. The best apps can do is like carbon copy, pretty much clone what the existing app is doing. Maybe a feature or two different, and they're hoping that just by its name alone, the fact that it is some alternative is going to be, what does it. Twitter's had a million Twitter clone carbon copy killers, and the Mastodon, Blue Sky, Post, Threads, there's countless. There's the alt-righty one, whatever it's called. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's stupid. That one didn't do it. And I'm going to explain why. I don't believe in the Twitter killer. I don't think one will exist. And it's for one reason. There's a fundamental reason. And it's a feature of these apps. And the feature is the problem. And that feature is us. We populate that app and make it what it is. And that's the reason it's awful. We made it awful. So what magical solution is Threads going to provide? Okay. We're all just going to sign up and then we're going to vomit out our fucking idiotic, half-baked, over-emotional, trigger-happy, I'm offended, this vaxes aren't real, and all this sort of shit into that one too. What difference does it make? You know who called it years ago?
Human beings are a disease.
I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to chase a dragon. We're trying to get back what Twitter was in the beginning. In the beginning, it was a beautiful thing. It was like this instantaneous micro blogging site. Your thoughts, your opinions, your jokes, your, just random observation, just where you were. And then it sort of grew from that, and it became this resource to like amplify individual or group voices, whether they were marginalized or like entire countries. There was the Arab Spring that came from Twitter. All these awesome things. People had like a voice. The individual could be heard, and it could be instant. Like even news sources started going to Twitter, and they were like, we're going to post breaking news here because this is where people go. I think we're so taken by how revolutionary it was. We were romanced sort of by it. We just used it as this fun thing, you know? And a lot of people did use it seriously, like Arab Spring. And for the most part, people didn't go on there to fight with everybody. They went on to just post their thoughts because it felt good to finally be like, oh yeah, I can have an opinion on the Oscars. And remember when we used to do that? We used to just live tweet award shows and just shit on everybody, and it was just such a good time. I think what happened is if Twitter was a bar, right? For many years, it was a bar from the hours of like 9 to midnight. Fucking everyone's having a blast, right? All different kinds of people from different walks of life. It was sort of a kind of divey, fun place in a hip part of town. You're meeting new people. Everyone's got opinions, and you're having fun. And then like a biker gang caught wind of it, you know? And then they showed up, and then it just started getting kind of weird, right? And then people were like, I'm going to find somewhere else to go. And then it became like stuck in this perpetual last call 1 a.m. kind of vibe. Any bar at 1 a.m. is just like, it's starting to get weird, sort of sad. It's a bunch of just fucking angry bros that aren't getting laid. So they're just like, you could just feel the tension, you know? And then there's this weird racist biker gang in the corner. That was just sort of started being the vibe of Twitter all the time. And nothing good happens in a bar at 1 a.m. It just doesn't. And the best thing you can do is be like, I'm going home. And when you're younger, great. Dive bar, awesome. It's fun. It's weird. It's dangerous. But like, you get to a point where you're like, look, I'm in my 30s. And now the feature is the problem, right? I live in this neighborhood. I used to go to that dive bar. Now I want to get to bed at midnight, and that dive bar is going fucking off, dude. There's that biker gang's fucking doing donuts in the parking lot. They're yelling racial slurs. It's getting weird and uncomfortable. I don't like it. I want it to go away. So eventually you want the dive bar to shut down. And that's pretty much the best we can get, is it just shuts down. It goes away. Nothing will be fixed by opening a new, almost identical bar and then just moving the biker gang over there. It's not going to work. The same people, we're just going to populate the new one and be
a virus.
So yeah, sign up for Threads and think it'll be different, but it won't. And I think a lot of us are not fully done with Twitter, because a lot of people are like, oh, Threads just launched. Can I finally cancel my Twitter? Can I finally delete? You've been able to delete it. You just don't want to. If you really did, you would just delete it and use Instagram. I think there's a part of us that kind of like, you know, still craves the chaos.
These human beings define their reality through misery and suffering.
I think the new apps that start, you know, they will think, oh, well, what if we have rules and regulations? Some people think that could be a solution. That's not going to work either. Fine, this dive bar sucks now. So let's open up, you know, some nicer place with like, you know, there's like dress codes and you can't wear hats and these jerseys, a velvet rope and a waiting list. And then it just becomes something either, you know, special, or it becomes exclusive and elite. And that's not fun. If some corporate entity opened a dive bar called Dive Bar, you're like, something doesn't feel authentic about this place. And then you find out it's owned by the Cheesecake Factory, and you're like, that's why. Nope, not authentic, not genuine. I'm out of here. Did you guys watch the Arnold documentary? Dude, fuck. Talk about a guy that lived he's the definition of extraordinary. Extraordinary. He's that. He lived 3 different whole lives and got to the top of his game in each one. It's incredible. I watched it like overwhelmed by the amount that he was able to do with he came from nothing. It wasn't like he was the child of billionaires and just had everything handed to him. He grew up in an Austrian village and was like, I'm going to become a bodybuilder. There's no bodybuilding culture in Austria. There's fucking farms. And he becomes Mr. Universe, Mr. Olympia, like a million times over, to where it's like, I'm bored of constantly being the strongest, buffest, best looking body in the world. And then goes on to become the biggest movie star on planet Earth. Can speak barely any English, has no acting skills, still pulls it off. Then goes, I'm going to be the governor of not just a state, California, which on its own is like the 8th largest economy in the world. Then does it. You watch stories about people like that, and they make you feel like you've done fucking nothing with your life. It's a 3-part documentary. Each part is about each section, each different life that he's led. And by the end of it, I thought that my biggest accomplishment in life was watching the Arnold documentary. I'm exhausted watching this guy be so accomplished. And my second biggest accomplishment was not fucking killing myself after I saw it. Anyway, it's good. I recommend it. I think that's that. I watched Silo. Have you guys seen Silo? Maybe I'll talk about it in another episode. I have thoughts on these shows that go on too long, that are 10 episodes when it could be done in 6 episodes kind of shows. And Silo was one of them. And people kept saying good things, so I tried it, and I love sci-fi, but we'll do that next episode. We'll do that because I also have been reading some sci-fi books I want to get into too. So yeah, we'll do that then. Listen, good to see you. And if you are listening or watching to this and have not subscribed to my goddamn YouTube, stop what you're doing and go do that. I need to get to a certain number so I can monetize my goddamn page. So go do that. Subscribe. You don't have to turn on the stupid bell. You just fucking subscribe to the channel. And I have a Patreon. Go check that out and watch my special. Please and thank you. And drop a fucking something on that. A like, a comment, a whatever. Help a guy get it done. Damn it. Okay. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.
Comment. Don't be a dick.